Hey everyone, recording a quick video for you showing you how to add our indicators to your charts if you just purchased them. Let's dive right in. So here we have two blank charts. This is my generic layout. If you just purchased, you're going to go up to where it says indicators and you're going to go to this invite only tab. And you should see in here, you'll have the Pristine market analysis dashboard, Pristine fundamental analysis, and you'll have Pristine value areas and MGI. I highly recommend going in and making these a favorite of yours. So first things first, we're going to add our value areas and MGI indicator to the chart. And the first thing that I'm going to do, you can see all of these settings that are highlighted up here. I'm going to go into the settings, and keep in mind, we spent so much time designing this and trying to make this as intuitive as possible. I'm just going to go ahead and uncheck this inputs and status line, and you can see it cleans things up dramatically over here. Now, this is just personal preference for me, but you can see over here we've got our MGI table. I'm going to go ahead and move that table to the upper right hand side of the screen. Right now it's in the bottom left. So let's go to top right. Then the other thing I'm going to do on these settings is I'm going to change the color of the VPOC labels to black. It's just a personal preference, I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and make that change. If you'd like to add the point of control labels, you could always do that right here. And that's perfectly fine, you'll see that appear here, but I'm going to go ahead and toggle that off. Now the other big thing is the label style that you'd prefer. So for some people, they prefer a lot of information, other people less information. This one is jam-packed with info, but this is more so once you understand market profile. It's going to show you the price level. It's going to show you the percent change in order to reach that level. And then it's going to show you the ATR change in order to reach that level. But I'm going to go ahead and just to keep things simple, I'm going to go with this layout right here. And then I also do want to turn on my historical value areas. So these are my preferred settings, but there are times where I go in and make some changes to those preferred settings. Now, let's go ahead and, last thing, I'm going to go ahead and change the colors on this table. This again is just my own personal preference, but let's go in. I'm going to change my metric background to black. So as you can see, that should update right over here, and we've got that. So now our value areas indicator is on the chart. Now this is NVIDIA. I also want to see the fundamental data for this company. So I'm going to again go to invite only, and I'm going to go to Pristine fundamental analysis. Now if we go ahead and add this to our chart, let me just make sure that's on here. We added Pristine fundamental analysis. There it is. So we can see this is now on a separate pane. I actually prefer mine to be on the same pane. So I'm going to go ahead and right click this. And I'm going to do move to existing pane above. So now we can see we've got the information on our table. Now to keep things consistent, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change the metric background to black. That's just my preferred branding. And I'm going to move this up to the top left. I found this is a perfect spot for me. And then keep in mind the text size will actually adjust the size of these tables. So there you go. For demonstrative purposes, I'm going to keep mine on medium. And then that inputs and status line, I'm going to uncheck this as well, just to clean things up. So now we have both of those indicators on our chart. This is typically how I just like to trade. I like to have those indicators on my chart. I'll also add moving averages to my chart. And you can see as we go to the weekly, the information on the market generated information table has changed. And then the information on the fundamental table has also changed. And you can see right here, we have NVIDIA earnings in 13 days. Feel free to move these tables around and really make this your own. So now we've got this all ready to go. Now let's also go over to this other generic layout. And then from here, what I'm going to do on this separate tab is in indicators, I'm going to go right back to invite only, and I'm going to go to our market analysis dashboard. Now we can see, once we add that, keep in mind when you're adding this market analysis dashboard, I like to always have a futures contract up. That's where you're going to get accurate results for all of these futures that are in this table. So once again, I'm going to go into settings. And before I do that, let me hit these three dots. I actually want to get rid of this. So I'm going to go to hide because I don't want to see that chart, right? So I'm going to go there. Then let me jump into the settings for this table. Now, as you can see here, we could do similar stuff. We could change our metric background and make this a bit of a different color. For whatever reason, I've settled in on just having it the pristine blue color. Now, the other cool thing is if you're just getting this indicator, you can also update to your own branding. So you can be like the really cool table. And you will see that should update right over here. I'm also going to make one adjustment. Inputs and status line. I'm going to uncheck that. And you can see now it says the really cool table. Now keep in mind we have two other indicators, but those indicators are free. So if you wanted to access those, you could jump right over to our latest newsletter. We have a Pristine TradingView indicators section of each nightly newsletter, as you can see. And let's say you wanted to access our Pristine breadth indicator. You could go ahead and click this link. This indicator can only be accessed through that link. So it is intended for people that are subscribers to our newsletter, but again, it's completely free. And this is one of my favorite indicators. It's not free because it's not valuable. It's just free because we wanted to give people something to get them started. So once you click the link, then you could do use on chart. You should have that in your indicators within TradingView. And then I will show you what you would do. So you would jump in here. I'm going to go to indicators and I'm going to search pristine breadth. And again, you want to make sure to add these to your favorites. I'm going to go ahead and add pristine breadth. Pristine breadth is going to be on the bottom left hand side. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move mine to the top center. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to move it to a new pane above. So you can do this, that way you have a nice setup here. And you can really just keep an eye on what's going on in the market. Now, last indicator, this is our other free indicator, which is our volume Indy. So let's jump back over here. And let's say you're reading the newsletter. Again, this is another free Indy. So you do the same. You could access pristine volume. You can just click this link here and you should see it appear. You could do use on chart, whatever you'd like. And again, for all of these indicators, we spent a ton of time on this documentation. But anyway, I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to indicators. I'm going to search pristine volume. And you do want to make sure that these are favorited. That way you can access them in the future. So we have our pristine volume Indy, and just to keep things consistent, I'm going to change that metric background to black. And you can really get creative with how you want to create layouts. There's so many different variations you can pick. So like for example, I'm going to take my volume Indy and I'm going to move this table, I'll move it over to the top center. That looks pretty cool. So there you have it. That is unboxing all of our pristine indicators. Take care.